The clink of wine glasses, the low hum of 100 conversations, the golden glow of the chandelier dripping light over white linen and polished silver. It's our anniversary. I'm smiling. But my jaw aches from holding it in place. I've been watching him, David, across the table all evening, the way his eyes dart toward the far side of the restaurant. The way his hand keeps brushing his phone in his pocket like it's a living thing. My fingers tighten around the stem of my glass. We've been married 12 years, 12 years of inside jokes, whispered goodnights, shared coffee on lazy Sundays, 12 years of believing I knew every inch of him. Until tonight. Because tonight something is different. The air feels heavier. The silk dress I chose, the one he once said made me look dangerous, feels too tight around my ribs. My pulse is louder than the music. I keep hearing it between his words. A dull rush like ocean waves against a cliff. He leans back in his chair. His expression calm to calm. I know that face. That mask he wears when he's about to say something he knows will hurt me. My fork is still in my hand. But I can't taste the food anymore. I glance at the other couples around us laughing, leaning close, their hands brushing over candlelight. I feel like a stranger in my own life. The waiter sets down the dessert, our dessert chocolate souffle for two. But David doesn't look at it. He pushes his chair back. The sound is sharp in the room. Every conversation around us seems to pause. The clink of cutlery fades. It's as if the air itself is holding its breath. He stands, his glass in his hand, his shoulders squared, his voice steady. I have something to say. He begins. I freeze. The way he says it, calm, rehearsed, almost ceremonial, sends a cold line of fear crawling up my spine. This isn't a toast. This isn't a romantic declaration. And then his eyes meet mine. In that split second, I know. Something inside me fractures. I hear him inhale, and when the words leave his mouth, they slice clean through the air, through me, through everything I thought was safe. The room tilts. My breath catches, my heart forgets its rhythm, because what he says next is not love. It's the beginning of an ending I never saw coming. I can't hear the room anymore. Only the sound of my own pulse. I can't do this anymore. David says. The words drop like stones into water, rippling through me. For a moment, I think I've misheard him, that he's joking, but his face calm, steady, deliberate kills that hope instantly. A chair scrapes somewhere behind me. A fork clatters onto a plate. The room is moving again, but I'm frozen. I open my mouth, but nothing comes out. My throat feels packed with sand. He takes a slow sip of wine, sets the glass down with precision, then, looking not at me but at the other tables, he says it again, louder this time, almost like he wants an audience. I can't keep pretending. Not anymore. Pretending. I manage to swallow, my voice emerging thin and sharp. What are you talking about? He finally looks at me, really looks, and for a fleeting second, I see something in his eyes, not regret, not guilt, relief. It makes my stomach turn. I've been lying to you, he says simply, like confessing the weather. For a long time, a laugh bursts from me, too high, too brittle. David, if this is some kind of twisted, it's not a joke, Claire. His tone is flat, final. I grip the edge of the table. My hands are trembling so badly the silverware rattles. I'm aware of people looking now, strangers craning their necks, pretending not to stare. I want to get up, leave, but my legs feel like stone. I met someone, he says, and the air leaves my lungs in one violent rush. It's been months. The words are a knife, but the worst part is the way he says them. Not with shame, not even with anger, with freedom. Like he's been waiting for this moment. Like this is the real reason we came here tonight. I search his face for some sign of hesitation, some crack in the armor. There's none, only that steady, maddening calm. You're telling me this? Here, my voice is shaking now on our anniversary. His jaw tightens. It felt right. Like a clean break, a clean break. My mind is screaming, my heart is splintering, and yet, I'm still sitting there, staring at him, as the rest of the restaurant starts to breathe again around us. The waiter passes by, glancing nervously at our table, as if weighing whether to step in. I can't even cry. Not yet. The shock has sealed me shut. Somewhere inside, a small, clear thought surfaces. It's faint, but it cuts through the fog. This isn't the full truth. David's too careful, too calculated. If he's telling me this now, like this, there's more, something he hasn't said yet, something worse, and I will find it. But first, I have to survive this moment. The next morning, the sunlight feels wrong. It spills across the kitchen table in warm gold, but it doesn't touch me. My coffee is cold before I even remember to drink it. David is moving around the house like nothing happened, shower running, closet doors sliding, the low thud of his shoes against the hardwood. I sit perfectly still, my hands wrapped around the mug like it might keep me from coming apart. When he finally walks into the kitchen, his shirt is pressed, his hair damp, his cologne heavy in the air. He looks normal. Too normal. Don't forget we have dinner with your sister next week. He says like we didn't just destroy each other last night. I don't answer. I'm still replaying the way he said it. I can't do this anymore in front of a room full of strangers. You're not going to talk to me? His voice is almost irritated now. I force my eyes to meet his. What's her name? A pause. It's only a fraction of a second. But I catch it. That flicker in his gaze. That's not important. He says finally, yes it is. He picks up his keys. I don't want to make this uglier than it already is. And just like that, he's gone. The door shuts. The sound echoes through the empty house. I sit there for a long time, listening to the silence. My mind begins stitching things together. The late nights at the office. The trips he said were last minute. The text he got last month that made him leave the room mid-conversation. I remember a sweater I found in his car once, soft, pale pink. Not my size. He'd laughed it off. Said it belonged to a coworker who'd spilled coffee on hers and borrowed his hoodie. I believed him. Now, I can see it for what it was. By noon, the coffee has gone bitter in my mouth. I wander through the house, my fingers brushing over the edges of things, our framed wedding photo, the bookshelf we built together, the deep scratch in the dining table from the time we tried to move it ourselves. I open his desk drawer. The top one is neat, pens lined up, papers stacked, but the second drawer sticks. I have to pull harder. Inside, there's a small black notebook. My stomach flips. I know I shouldn't. But my hands are already moving. The pages are filled with numbers, dates, little notes in his handwriting. Most of it looks like work stuff, until I see a name, written over and over again. Not a woman's name. A man's. I don't recognize it. But my blood runs cold. Because if David has been lying about who he's been seeing, what else has he been hiding? The name in the notebook haunts me. It sits in the back of my mind like a shadow that doesn't belong to me. I try saying it out loud, whispering it in the quiet of the living room, hoping it will trigger some memory. Nothing, but it feels familiar. I make myself a cup of tea, but I don't drink it. I just stand at the window, staring at the bare winter trees, and suddenly I'm not in the present anymore. I'm 23 again. It's the first week I met David. He was older, 30, and seemed impossibly confident. I was waitressing at a crowded little cafe, juggling 3 tables at once, when he stopped me to ask if I'd ever been to the gallery downtown. He had this way of looking at you like you were the only person in the room. I said no. He said he'd take me. That weekend, we wandered between paintings, his hand resting lightly at the small of my back. He told me about his travels, his work, his favorite books. I told him almost nothing about myself, but somehow, he already knew what I liked down to the exact kind of wine I'd order later at dinner. I thought it was fate, but there were cracks, even then. 2 months in, I found a receipt in his jacket. Pocket 2 entrees, a bottle of wine, at a restaurant I'd never been to. When I asked, he smiled and said it was a work meeting. I believed him. I wanted to. A year later, after we'd moved in together, there was a weekend he'd disappeared. He told me he'd been visiting his sick mother. I sent her flowers. She called me, confused, saying she hadn't seen David in months. He said she was mistaken, that she was getting forgetful, and I believed him. Now, staring out the window, I feel sick, because the name in the notebook, it might not be new, it might not be months, it might be years. I flash to another memory, 4 years ago, our anniversary. Dinner, different restaurant, different dress. He got a phone call halfway through and left the table for 20 minutes. When he came back, he was smiling, his eyes bright in a way I hadn't seen all night. I never asked. And then another memory. The wedding. I remember standing in the receiving line, his arm around me. When a man approached, dark hair, sharp suit, he shook David's hand. Held his gaze a second too long. David's grip on my waist tightened until it almost hurt. The man congratulated us, but his eyes never left David's. And then he was gone. I didn't catch his name. But now I wonder if it was the same one I just saw written in that notebook. My stomach twists. My tea has gone cold. This isn't just about an affair. This is about someone from his past, someone who never really left, and if that's true, then David hasn't just been lying to me. He's been living another life entirely. I wait until evening. I need him to see me holding the notebook. David comes home later than usual. The moment I hear the front door open, I position myself in the living room, the black cover resting on my lap like evidence. He sees it instantly, stops in the doorway. Where did you get that? His voice is low, dangerous. I tilt my head. From your desk, second drawer. His jaw flexes. You went through my things. I went through our things. I correct unless you want to tell me why you keep someone's name written over and over again like some obsession. He takes a step closer, then stops like he's calculating the distance. You wouldn't understand. The words burn. Try me. He runs a hand down his face, pacing once in front of the fireplace. It's nothing. Just work. I laugh sharp, humorless. Oh right. Just like the late nights at the office, or the mystery pink sweater in your car, or the phone calls you take in the driveway because you think I'm not watching. His eyes narrow. This is exactly why I didn't tell you. You make everything a drama. I rise from the couch, my grip tightening on the notebook. Tell me who he is. The silence that follows is heavy. Then, finally, his name is Daniel. The sound of it rattles something deep in my memory. The man from our wedding. The one whose eyes lingered on David just a little too long. David sees the recognition in my face. His expression shifts, hardens. He's someone I used to know. A long time ago. Used to. I press. David looks away, jaw clenched. It's complicated. I step closer now, the notebook between us like a loaded weapon. Then uncomplicate it. His voice drops. We were involved before I met you. I ended it, but he didn't. My mouth goes dry. The floor feels unsteady beneath me. So this isn't about an affair with a woman. This is about him. David's eyes flick up to mine. There's something rather now, fear, maybe, or guilt. He's been reaching out, David admits, showing up where I am, calling from numbers I don't recognize. He wants to meet, and if I don't, he doesn't. Finish if you don't. What? I demand. David exhales, the sound shaky. He says he'll tell you everything. The words hang between us like a blade. I stare at him, the pieces locking into place in my head. This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment confession at dinner. This was preemptive. A way to wound me first, so whatever Daniel says later won't destroy him completely, but it's too late for that, because I'm already destroyed. I don't remember him leaving the room. One moment, David is standing there, eyes fixed on mine. The next, I'm alone, clutching the notebook so tightly the edges dig into my palms. The house is too quiet. The kind of quiet that feels intentional, like it's pressing down on me, waiting to see if I'll break. I set the notebook on the table and stare at it. The name Daniel stares back at me in looping ink, page after page. It's not just repetition, it's ritual. Part of me wants to rip the pages out, tear them into confetti and scatter them into the cold night air, but another part, darker, steadier, knows this is evidence. I take out my phone and snap pictures of every page. My hands are still trembling, but my breathing slows as I work. Documentation makes me feel less like prey, more like someone preparing for a hunt. Upstairs, I hear the faint creak of the floorboards, David moving in the bedroom, drawers opening, closing. A suitcase zipper, he's packing. I force my voice to stay level when I call out. Going somewhere? No answer, just the muffled thud of something heavy being set down. When he comes back downstairs, he's carrying an overnight bag. I'm staying at a hotel for a few days, he says without meeting my eyes. Running away, I ask. His mouth tightens. I think we both need space. I watch him walk to the door. He pauses with his hand on the knob, finally glancing at me. For the briefest second, his calm cracks, and I see something sharp flash across his face. Panic. Then it's gone. The door clicks shut. The sound seems to echo for minutes. I sink onto the couch. The room spinning around me, every nerve in my body feels electric, wired too tightly. I can't tell if I want to scream or collapse. Instead, I pull out my laptop. I type the name, Daniel plus David plus our city. Nothing. I try different combinations. Still nothing. I'm about to give up when I remember something. The man from our wedding. The sharp suit. The way he looked at David. I dig out our wedding album from the bookshelf. Flip through page after page until there. Not in the formal photos, but in the background of a candid shot, blurred, but unmistakable. The same man. I study his face until the details burn into my memory. David thinks he's controlling this story, that by breaking me first, he's taken away Daniel's power. He's wrong because I'm going to find Daniel. And when I do, I'll know the truth. The next morning, I'm out of bed before the sun. The house feels different without David in it. Colder, quieter, like it's waiting for something. I make coffee, but my focus is on the laptop already open on the table. The wedding photo of Daniel is propped against my mug, his blurred face staring at me while I search. The internet gives me nothing at first. No social media, no LinkedIn, no trace. That kind of absence feels deliberate. I start looking at background details in the wedding photo, the corner of a building visible through the reception hall windows. The faint logo on the lapel pin he's wearing. It takes 2 hours, but I find it. The logo belongs to a law firm 3 cities over. I call, pretending to be an old friend trying to reconnect. The receptionist hesitates, then tells me Daniel left the firm 5 years ago. No forwarding information. Dead end. Except, not quite. Her voice catches when I say his name. She pauses a beat too long before answering my questions. I can tell she knows more than she's saying. By noon, I'm restless. I leave the house and drive aimlessly, thinking. My hands grip the steering wheel tighter every time David's words replay in my head. He'll tell you everything. I stop at a gas station off the highway and sit in the car with my coffee cooling in the cup holder. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. I answer, my voice cautious. Hello. Silence. Then Claire. It's a man's voice, low, steady, unfamiliar, but not completely. This is Daniel, he says. My throat tightens. How did you get my number? I've had it for a long time, he says. I just never used it until now. The way he says it sends a shiver up my spine. What do you want? I manage. I think you already know. He says David's been lying to you about me. About a lot of things. I glance around the parking lot, suddenly hyper-aware of every car, every person. Then tell me, not over the phone. He gives me a time, a place. A diner off Route 14, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Before I can respond, the line goes dead. I sit there for a long time, staring at my phone, feeling the world tilt beneath me. I don't know if meeting him is a mistake. I don't know if I'm walking into danger, but I do know one thing. I'm going, because I need the truth, even if it's the kind that burns everything down. The diner is nearly empty when I pull into the lot. It's the kind of place that smells like coffee and fried onions before you even open the door. The neon sign hums faintly above me, its red glow spilling across the wet pavement. I spot him the moment I walk in. Daniel is sitting in a corner booth, half-shadowed. No suit this time, just a dark sweater and jeans, but there's still something sharp about him, like a blade that's been carefully hidden but never dulled. When he stands to greet me, I notice 2 things. He's taller than I remember and his eyes are unreadable. Claire, he says, his voice low. He gestures for me to sit. I slide into the booth, my back against the wall. The vinyl is cold under my palms. You came, he says, almost like he wasn't sure I would. You gave me a choice. My voice is sharper than I intended. A faint smile touches his lips. Fair enough. The waitress comes, pours coffee for both of us, then disappears without asking what we want. The silence between us stretches. Finally, I lean forward. Tell me. Daniel wraps his hands around his mug but doesn't drink. David told you we used to be involved. I nod. That's true, he says, but it's not the whole story. He looks out the window for a moment, the neon sign painting his face in flickering red. David didn't end things with me, Daniel says quietly. I ended things with him. Because I found out what he was doing. What he was doing. My voice catches on the words. Daniel meets my eyes. Fraud, money laundering, using my name, my accounts. He nearly ruined me. I stare at him, the words hitting me like cold water. You're saying, I'm saying, he cuts in, that David isn't just unfaithful. He's dangerous, and when I tried to expose him, he turned everything around on me. Made it look like I was the one at fault. My pulse is pounding. Why didn't you go to the police? He lets out a humorless laugh. I did. Guess who showed up with evidence that I was unstable? Guess who charmed the investigators? Played the devoted partner to you while painting me as a jealous ex. I feel sick. Daniel leans in. And now he's got a problem. Someone's asking questions, someone too close to him. You, that's why he's trying to get ahead of this. He wants you to think I'm the threat, so you'll never believe me. The coffee between us has gone cold. My hands are numb. If what you're saying is true, I whisper, why tell me now? Daniel's gaze hardens. Because, Claire, you're next. Once he's done with you, he'll burn your life down to keep himself safe. The words settle over me like ice. For the first time since this all began, I'm not just hurt, I'm afraid. I walk out of the diner with my head spinning, the night air hits me like a cold wave, sharp against my skin, and I pull my coat tighter around me. The streetlights flicker overhead, casting long shadows that twist and stretch like something alive. Every step feels heavy, like the pavement is pulling me down, dragging me deeper into a darkness I never wanted to enter. Daniel's words replay in my mind, he'll burn your life down to keep himself safe. I glance over my shoulder. The street is empty, but I feel eyes on me. I quicken my pace. I don't know who to trust anymore. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. I don't answer. A text arrives instead. You're making a mistake. Let it go. No signature, no clue who sent it. My heart hammers in my chest. I tuck the phone into my pocket and keep moving. At home, the house feels different too. Still too expectant. I find a note on the kitchen table. Claire, I'm sorry. Please don't make this harder. No signature, no explanation. I want to scream, to throw something, to shake the walls until they break, but I sit down instead, my fingers trembling. David's apology feels like a lie wrapped in silence. That night, sleep evades me. Every creak, every whisper of wind against the window sends me spiraling. I realize something terrible. David isn't the man I married. He's a stranger who's been living a lie. A stranger who's about to destroy everything. I am. Morning light is harsh through the blinds. It doesn't soften the edges. It only exposes everything. I sit alone at the kitchen table. The note is still there. David's apology, empty words scrawled on thin paper. My hands shake as I cup the cold mug of coffee, staring down at the black notebook beside it. The evidence, the truth, my new reality. I'm broken but not defeated. I think about the man I thought I knew, the husband I once trusted, and the lies he built brick by brick, shadow by shadow. But I am still here, still breathing, still fighting. There's a fire now, a quiet, fierce flame burning beneath the fear. It's the part of me he didn't know existed. I will not be erased. I will not be silenced. David tried to freeze the room with his words that night, tried to make me small, invisible, powerless. But I'm writing this for you. Because sometimes the ones we love are the ones who hurt us the most. Sometimes the betrayal cuts deepest when it comes from inside our own home. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, if you've ever felt that cold, sharp break inside your chest, know this. You are not alone. And sometimes the darkest moments are the ones that shape us into the strongest versions of ourselves. So I ask you, if you were in my place, what would you do next?